So, ladies, what I want to talk to you about today, okay, is I kind of want to answer the question of how do you come to peace with the old you and embrace the new you while still being the current you and having that kind of tug of war going on? How do we find that balance and accept where we are, embrace where we are, and not struggle more than we need to, not have more challenges than we need to because we're at war with ourselves internally? Does that make sense? I think we all know that internal war, right? So that's what I want to talk about today. And to answer that question, okay, I want to ask you a question first, okay? So I want you to think of, before Fit Queen was in your life, okay, I want you to think about what was the happiest moment of your life. What was the happiest moment or happiest point in time in your life? And I want you to write it in the comments, okay? So was it when you were a certain age, you were the happiest at this age, or when you got, the day you got married? Like, what was the happiest time in your life? Okay, like really where you genuinely felt like this is the peak. This is the peak. It can't get better than this. So what is it? Let me see it. Could be lots of different things. You know, when you had your first child, what are the peaks? Had our daughter. Yeah, there we go. So think of that happy moment. Nephew was born. Yeah, it's usually to do with family for sure. So the reason I ask that is because when we have big highs or big lows in our life, those become our measuring tools for things, right? So the happiest moment in our life, whether we realize it consciously or subconsciously, that becomes the measuring tool we use to measure our success now. So we subconsciously say, you know, have I reached that level that I reached at my happiest moment? Have I felt those same things? Did I feel the same way or not? And if not, then it's not the happiest moment. And we rate it like that. Subconsciously, we're rating it. You know, if you think about the worst moment in your life, the lowest point you had, that's something you compare your other moments to. So if you're having a bad day, you'll say, well, it's not as bad as that, right? It becomes this measuring tool. You following me? And now the problem with that is this, okay? So I want you to, in the comments, I want you to tell me, how have you changed since that happiest moment? How have you personally changed? How has your life changed since that happy moment? Are you a different person? Like, do you have a different mindset? Do you have different habits? You know, have you had kids now? Have you got married? Like, how have you changed since that happiest moment? And maybe it's for the good, maybe it's for the bad, whatever. Let me know in the comments. How have you personally changed since that moment? Okay? And really think about this. This is important to connect this all together. So you got your happiest moment, and then now in life, how are you different from that? Different person and mindset, more optimistic about yourself. Ooh, Mackie says definition of happiness has changed. Yeah, so this is cool. So the reason I say this is because if you're doing life right, you're not the same person, right? Does that make sense? You shouldn't be the same person you were last year, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. We are ever evolving. Our knowledge, our skills, our personality traits, they change as we change, right? And a flaw that I find, and something that really holds women back from weight loss, from happiness, from relationship success, from career success, is that we are always trying to get back to something. We are always trying to, you know, get back to our pre-baby weight, the weight we were on our wedding day, the weight we were in high school when we played soccer. We're trying to get back to somewhere because that's the only measuring tool we have. You following me? So we're trying to get back there. But what did I just say? You are not that person anymore. So how could you ever get back to that if you're not that person anymore? And that is the trap that we find ourselves in. Striving for something, whether consciously or unconsciously, to get back to something, to recreate a feeling, recreate a point in time, a point in your life. We're trying to recreate how you felt in your 20s, right? But here's the thing, you're not who you were in your 20s, or you're not who you were pre-baby. You've changed. You're not the same person, so you're never going to get back to that point. So then we have to first come to terms with that. And then secondly, we have to stop holding ourselves back by trying to get back to somewhere. And we need to realize that because who you are right now in this moment is the newest version of you. It's like you just had an upgrade. You're this new person right now in this second. You have never been this person in this place in life before. You are completely brand new. And so these things we're trying to recreate will never recreate. So then what are you going to create from scratch going forward? That's the switch that needs to flip. Not what am I trying to get back to? What am I trying to recreate? What am I trying to create this time around? What am I trying to make myself? That's the switch that needs to happen. And that's why this journey is so damn hard, right? Has anybody had an easy time so far? No, right? And it's challenging because we're fighting with our old self. We want to become this new person, but we're stuck in the middle, not knowing to listen to our head, listen to our heart. Did we make the right decision? Did I mess up? Did I do this? Should I do this? We don't know which direction to take because that old you is trying to pull you back into your old lifestyle, pull you back into your comfort zone where it's safe and warm. And the new you is trying to pull you forward, it's trying to yank you into the future where it's extremely uncomfortable, where the unknown is very real and it's scary. And then you're pulling in the middle. And sometimes we snap and sometimes we break. And most of the time you break. And most of the time you give up. And that is why almost no women, no people in life ever reach true happiness. Because they just can't find that balance. They can't let go of the past and embrace the future. We're always trying to get back to somewhere. But even if you think back to your happiest moment, could there have been things that changed that would have made it better? Yeah. Not that I'm not saying, do you want to change it? No, you probably don't want to change it. But could there have been changes? Yeah. So what if you could have that new moment again with even more things that went right? That's what we're trying to build. So you kind of have to detach the strings from the past. You are literally every day on this journey, on your weight loss journey, on your health, you are discovering new things. You are discovering the undiscovered. And that's scary. That's uncharted territory. You are doing what's never been done before. You have never done this stuff before. Do you guys understand that? Where you're going, you've never been before. And that's scary. And you're not going to be good at it the first time. And it may look different than what you think it's going to look like. Because what you think it's going to look like or what you want it to look like is based on those moments of the past that you use as your measuring tool. Is that making sense? And so where you are now, sitting right now, everything in your life has accumulated to you being here in this moment. Everything in your life has built you to this moment. And if, ladies, in this moment, you are not 100% happy with every area of your life, you are unable to get yourself to 100% happiness. And let me explain what I mean. So if you're unhappy right now, you do not have the ability to make yourself happy. And this is what I mean by that, okay? This is controversial sometimes. So what I mean by that is everything that your life has done for you, experiences, thoughts, all the knowledge, all the skills you have, all the opinions you've formed have made you, right? And who you are has made the lifestyle, has created the body you have, right? And bring this back to if you guys remember high school physics, one of Newton's laws. An object in motion will stay in motion unless a force is acted upon it. So you will continue to stay in motion unless an external force is acted upon you. And what that means is you will continue to repeat the same cycle. You will be stuck in the loop of toxic behavior unless you have an outside force coming in and disrupting those patterns. And that's what Fit Queen is. I can only get myself to this point in life. And I can only ever get myself to this point in life. My whole life has equipped me with the skills and the knowledge and the opinions and the thought processes to get me here. But here, I'm not happy and satisfied with. So how can I level up if everything in life has only ever gotten me here? That's where that external source kicks in. Is this making sense? That's why it's so important for coaches, for mentors, for guides. They've leveled up in areas you haven't leveled up, and they pull you into those levels with them. Where if they weren't there, you would stay in motion on the same trajectory. Does that make sense? If Fit Queen didn't interrupt your habits, interrupt your patterns, where would you be right now? Where would you be right now? Do you even want to think about it? Probably not, right? And so what I want you to get from this concept that I'm explaining is, number one, the importance of coaches and the importance of help, asking for help, accepting help, realizing that you're actually strong for needing help and accepting it, not weak. Especially women, it's like a pride thing. Like, we can't accept help. It's almost a pride thing to be able to say we did everything ourselves. We took the kids to school. We did the laundry. We did the dishes. We cooked dinner. You know, it's almost a pride thing to say that we did the whole to-do list by ourselves. But then at the end of the day, we're resentful and miserable about it, right? You complain, oh, why did I have to do all this by myself? I was on my hands. It's like your grandparents saying, I walked to school uphill both ways, no shoes on in the snow, right? It's because we are kind of taught that asking for help is weak. But asking for help is one of the strongest things you can ever do. Accept help. Take the help. Use the help. Learn from the help. And you don't always have to be the one giving help, ladies. If you don't take something, you will have nothing left to give. And that's just the way that it is. And so I want you to appreciate what help can do. I wouldn't be where I am if I didn't have help along my way. If I didn't have coaches and my own mentors that helped me level up, that now I can use to help you level up. And it's literally like a circle. It's a circle of just giving and taking, and everything's interconnected. And I want you to appreciate the miracle that is help. How much easier it makes things, because you guys are all strong. I will never take that away from you. What you've accomplished in life, who you are, what you've done, you are strong. But strength doesn't equal happiness. Being strong alone equals a lot of heartache, right? Being strong alone is really lonely and very hard to find true happiness. So doing it and asking for help with people who are ahead of you can help you fast forward, skip the pain, skip the mistakes that they've made. That's why this is so successful. That's why Fit Queen you guys have so much fun. It's not easy, but it's fun. It's fun to get help and not suck so bad all the time. It's frustrating. It's frustrating failing again and again. It's frustrating feeling like you're the only one fighting, right? It's frustrating feeling like you're the only one that cares. And so I want you to appreciate the power of help and realize there's strength in getting help. And then the second thing I want you to understand is the power of your journey, of leaving the past in the past, of it's almost like a rebirth. Like the old you is dying. Does anybody feel like that? Can anybody resonate with that? Really and truly, the old you is dying. The old you created the life you have, and it served you well, and it helped you survive, and it helped you have good moments, and it helped you through the bad moments. But now your life wasn't good enough. You know you have more potential. You know you need to reach for the next level. You know you're not destined for mediocrity. You're not. So it's time to let the old you die. Embrace that the new you is not you yet, but you will be her one day. And she will be fierce, and she will be confident, and she will be strong and gentle at the same time. And She might be something you never pictured. You know? She might be something you never pictured. You might have this image in your head, and that might not be her. But that's okay, because you trust the process and you trust yourself to find happiness. Not just a place, not just a thing, not just a body, but true happiness. Is this making sense, ladies? It's a very deep concept. It really is this rebirth. And again, that is why this is so challenging, because your old life is warm and comfy and familiar. And the new life, you're starting from scratch sometimes in different areas of your life. So it's very challenging. It's very uncomfortable. It's very unfamiliar. It's very cold. And you don't necessarily want to jump in with 2 feet, right? And so what I want you to understand is, stop looking at what you want to get back to. Look at what you want to create. We're not trying to get back to anything, because you're not that person anymore. We want to look forward and create this new life, right? And again, it's challenging because the old life, it's your life. It is your life. Years, decades built up of relationships, friendships, children, hobbies, your career. And it's crazy to think that the new you might not have or need those things anymore. It's crazy. Who has a supportive spouse? Who has a supportive significant other, or like at least one supportive person in their life that's cheering them on every step of the way, not self-sabotaging them? But yeah. And then who doesn't? Who's kind of like all in this alone? Yeah. So it's not easy, and there are different challenges. And it's just so important to realize that this vision you have of the future you is based on your previous experiences. But what if your previous experiences were only a fraction of your potential? Imagine where you can end up. Isn't that exciting? You can't even fathom yet, because you haven't experienced it. You can't even fathom where we're going to take you, where you're going to take yourself, and who's going to come with you, or who's going to come into your life, or who's going to leave your life. It's crazy. And it's crazy, especially if you have a spouse, because a lot of the times, or a spouse or best friend, or there's someone in your life that's supportive, they're not on the same level as you. Mentally, most importantly, they're learning at a much slower rate. They're leveling up at a much slower rate. So it's hard for you to decide, am I going to wait for them, or am I going to keep growing by myself? That's a huge aspect of this journey, because again, that new you, what if it's not what you thought it would look like, ladies? What if it's different? It's crazy. But it's very important to realize. And what I want you guys to think about right now is, number one, okay, in the comments, what do you think you've been holding on to? What have you been holding on to, trying to get back to? Even trying to fit back into certain clothes, you're not just trying to hit a size number, you're trying to hit a certain time frame that you were in. You were happy at that time because you fit into that clothes for some reason. It's even deeper than just fitting into an old pair of pants. It's not just that. So what are you holding on to? What are you holding on to that you need to let go of and realize, I don't want that. I want to create something new. What are we holding on to? Ooh, the time when I didn't have the responsibility of a family. That is a good one. Before kids and all my freedom. Hurtful people and memories. Yeah, we're digging deep here, guys. That's it. I really like that one. So the family thing. So yeah, so when you become a mother, when you become a wife, when you become these people, and you now have responsibilities to someone other than yourself, you become a new person. You acquire a new skill set. You become a little less selfish. You're a new person. And so you cannot go back to before those times. These are huge milestones in life who completely shape and shift who you are. And we often want to go back to before them, because whenever we have big milestones or big shifts in our life, that's usually when our weight changes the most, because we're stressed or emotional or happy or comfortable, and we usually eat, right? Or don't eat. So they triggered, that time may have triggered certain behaviors that you weren't proud of, but before then you weren't who you are now. You didn't have that. So how can you be that old person but have this now? It doesn't line up. Does that make sense? The time before I was married, the time before kids. Yeah, it's crazy. You can't go back there and still have the family, right? If you really wanted to go back to before kids, you'd have to get rid of your kids. Are you going to get rid of your kids? I mean, maybe sometimes you want to, but no, I mean, you're not going to do that. So you have to let go, erase it, dump it out of your mind. You can't work towards that. It's not going to happen, and you will fail, and you will be disappointed, and your expectations will not align with your reality, and you will let yourself down every time. And in fact, you'll never be happy. You'll keep reaching this goal, reaching for this goal, and being unsatisfied because it's never matching that feeling from the past you're looking for. You will never, ever match a feeling from the past because you were a different person, and things affect you differently now. So I really need you guys to think about what are you searching for? Because the first thing that pops into your mind is something that you've created based on your past experiences. So that means it needs to change, because you can't recreate your past. You can't travel in time, unfortunately, unless you know something I don't. So number one, what's holding you back truly? And let go. What do you need to let go of? And then number two, ladies, write in the comments, what are you creating now? What is this future you want to create? What is this life you want to create? Maybe you've thought about this before, and maybe you want to recreate the entire structure of your life. The house you live in, the relationships you have. Maybe you want to recreate all of it, or maybe you don't. But what is the path? You need to know it. So what do you guys want to what do you want to create from scratch to become this future you? You've now let go of this thing you're holding on to, trying to recreate. Now we're left with a blank slate. And we're looking into the future, and it's black, it's dark, it's unknown. We don't know. What do you hope is there, ladies? What do you hope is there? Write it in the comments. And what are you working towards? And maybe you've never worked towards this in your life. Maybe you've never achieved it in your life. And that's what it should be. Because you're a new you should be working towards something you've never, ever, ever achieved before. No goal is unrealistic, because you've never achieved it before, so you don't know. So shoot for the stars. Freedom, energy, health, different mindset, happiness, enjoying life, embracing change, feeling good. Yeah. All great things, all attainable things, all of those things, maybe you felt little bits of them throughout your life. Maybe there's been times where you felt good, where you had energy, but you haven't had those times where you are right now in life. With the life you have, the daily habits you have, the job you have, the family position you're in. This is all new. You're the upgraded version of you. So you got to upgrade your goals. You got to upgrade your goals and stop settling and stop comparing, right? I can't tell you how many ladies I get on a call with, fit queens and non-fit queens, and I'm just talking, and they say, yeah, I just want to lose 10 pounds. I think that's realistic. And I say, why are you being realistic? Why? Because they're afraid. Because you're afraid. You're afraid of setting a goal too big and failing, or announcing it to the world and then not achieving it and being embarrassed, right? Those are real things. And guess what? They could happen. And maybe they will happen. But then what? Now you're another version of the new you. Make a new goal. Try again. You only lose when you stop trying. The game is not to be won. the game of life, the game of health, there are no winners. There just are losers and the people that keep trying. So you have to decide where you want to be. And I guarantee you will lose if you keep trying to recreate a point in time in your life. I guarantee it. Holding on to something has never done anybody any good. Accepting where you are and embracing where you're going to be, even if you don't know where that is or what that's going to look like, that's the key. So the first step, ladies, okay, and what you need to do after we get off this call, you need to really think about, number one, what made you come here? Like, why are you here today? Right? Because Fit Queen is, provided you with a solution for what? What was the problem you were trying to solve? And where did that problem come from? What is that solution you were looking for? And is that solution tied to your past? Should you change the solution? Should you change that end goal you've been thinking about? That's what I want to challenge you guys today. Are our expectations in line with the reality of what's going to happen? Because sometimes the expectations are in line with the past and they'll always be let down. So I want you guys to really think about what your goal is. And do you need to change it? I bet everybody on this call and everybody listening needs to tweak their goal in some way, right? For the longest time, I always wanted to be my grade 9 weight. I want to go back to my grade 9 weight, And that was my motivation. And that's what I got up every morning and did cardio for. And that's what pushed me to lose 30 pounds, 50 pounds, 60 pounds. And then guess what? One day I just gained it all back. Because I was never going to be me in grade 9. And to be honest, now that I'm thinking about it, why the hell would I want to be little, lanky, shy, grade 9 Madison? I don't. But I had this idea of that number I was in grade 9 represented something. That size pants I wore in grade 9 represented something. And that's what I was always trying to work towards. Even though it's been a long time since I was in grade 9. But for some reason, that was like what I stuck to. That time is what I stuck to. And I had to really sit down and ask myself, why? Why am I so stuck to this time? And I thought about it and I could not find a reason. I still could not tell you why. There was no reason. Because guess what? Where I am now is 1,000 times better with who I was, how I felt about myself, and what I did when I was in grade 9. And where you guys are headed is going to be 10,000 times better than where you think you want to get back to. And that is freaking exciting. And I hope you ladies realize that this is not a place you've ever been before. I hope you realize where you're venturing, you're going blindly. You don't know where you're going to end up. But you're excited because you know wherever it is, it's going to be good. Right? You don't know where we're going to end up because it's somewhere you haven't been before if you do it right. But it's going to be damn good. And it's going to feel better than that happiest moment of your past. And that is the goal. Okay, ladies? So quickly, I want to see your revelations in the comments below. Okay? What are you taking away from this? Maybe what do you need to think about? What do you need to reflect on more? Maybe did you already reflect during this call and you have your solution? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments where your mind is at. Do you need to rethink your goal? Do you find yourself living in the past a lot? Do you find yourself scared of the future? Do you maybe find yourself doubting your future sometimes? Because that's very possible too. If you don't know where you're going, you doubt if you'll ever get there. That's a real reality that we all go through too. Loving where I'm at. Change my goal. We can't go back to our happiest moment because we can make a better one. Yes. Work on the new me no matter how scared I am. Beautiful. Be in control of myself. Yes, ladies. Rethink my goal all the time. Yes. All the time it should change because we are subject to so many biases from society, from our parents, from our family, from our friends, telling us what to think, how to act. We don't even know, right? Why does everybody go to college, get married, buy a house, get a car, have a baby. Why do we all do this boom, 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 boom? Because we're told to do. And it's great. And some people that's meant to be. But do we stop and think about why we made that decision? Why were we pushed in that direction in the first place? Just something to think about. Always rethink your goal, because the old you is never far away. The old you is always standing behind you, waiting for you to slip up, waiting for you to doubt yourself. It's always there. So always take a second and reflect and remember, we're going somewhere you haven't been before. But that's okay. And that's the way that it should be. Okay, ladies? So thank you so much for listening to another Madison rant. I hope you took something away from it. You ladies are awesome as always. Thank you for engaging with me. Those are some really good comments today.